Silence, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the University Place, guests of University Place, thank you for coming to this dedication to honor the veterans. I would like to introduce Brigadier General Stan Fleming, the first mayor of the city of University Place, and our guest speaker today. General Fleming.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being out here this morning. To our veterans and our distinguished guests, and especially to Colonel Smith, thank you for being here. To Karen Schwartz, thank you so much. To Diane Tatham, ladies and gentlemen, as Greg said, my name's Stan Fleming. As a citizen of this community, as an American soldier, always and forever, and as a veteran, it really is a true honor and a privilege to serve today as our Master of Ceremonies for this event. On behalf of the University Place Veterans Plazas Committee, I'd like to again welcome each and every one of you to this dedication and a true day of remembrance. It really was exactly 1 year ago this day and on this hour that we gathered, if those of you who were here at that time, to remember the wind and the rain, when we dedicated this piece of land to the 41 million American men and women who have served this nation since its inception, and to the 1.4 million men and women who serve today to preserve the democracy and to promote peace throughout the world. And certainly to the veterans from our great city who have served and who continue to serve today. Today we celebrate the completion of this project that began almost 17 years ago with the vision of a few that this would become a beautiful plaza that would be enjoyed by many and to honor our veterans through the ages. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, please rise for the invocation by Chaplain Major Ryan Steenburg, the Brigade Chaplain of the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Cub Scout Pack 148, and then followed by our national anthem, sung by Sergeant Tricia Shear of the 133rd Washington Army National Guard and the soldiers from the 2nd of the 158th Assault Helicopter Battalion, 16th Combat Aviation Brigade.
Good morning, University Place. Before I pray, I just want to make a comment that 1 year ago, as General Fleming has already alluded to, we stood here in what was a mound of dirt. I had only recently signed into the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade, and this was my first duty as a citizen of University Place, as well as the chaplain for the 16th Cab. And what a privilege it is to stand here again with you this morning to offer the invocation for this place. And surrounding you, some of them are in uniform, some of them are not, are actually soldiers from the 16th Cab who helped lay these stones that are behind me. Soldiers that helped raise these flagpoles, soldiers that came to make sure that this was completed for you today to honor the veterans of the United States military service. So thank you for being here. I'm going to pray. I invite you to join me. Almighty God, you know every veteran by name. You know their deeds, their hard work, and their perseverance. You know their needs, both material and spiritual. Please draw each one closer to you and grant them all the peace that surpasses understanding. Father, please turn your gaze to those men and women who in their military service have sacrificed time, comfort, strength, ambition, health, and prosperity for the peace and safety of family and friends and others that they've never even known. Father, please reward them 100-fold for all their sacrifice and service. Lord, you know how deep a warrior's wounds go. You know the loss that many of our veterans endure in body and soul. You know the memories that haunt them and the scars that many of them continue to carry. Please bring healing to those veterans who still hurt. For God and country I pray. Amen. Amen.
Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Count salute. I pledge allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the mayor of the great city of University Place, the Honorable Mr. Steve Worthington.
And thank you for joining us this morning. It's a wonderful turnout, and it's a real privilege for me to be here. As General Fleming mentioned, I'm the mayor for the city University Place for 2022-2023, and this is very likely the highlight of my term as mayor. Seeing the culmination of this event, something we've, as a community, have worked together, as we heard earlier, for some near 16 years. So let me tell you a little bit about, from my perspective, it's the courage and the sacrifice that the United States veterans and their families provide for each of us that gives our nation its strength, gives our nation its power. Their daily duty to the American ideals keep us safe and secure at home and afar. It is certainly appropriate, fair, and fitting that the University Place community honors that tireless work of veterans by providing this plaza, so that we in UP have a special place to reflect, remember, and appreciate their sacrifices. The value that we as a community have for those sacrifices can be somehow partly reflected here in this plaza. Such a special place doesn't happen by chance or quickly. It's through concerted efforts by people who care and are committed and respect the work, the tasks that they have underway. And they do that working together. There are lots of people who have engaged in that work over the last 16 years. People that time and people have brought to us today, brought us to this point today. Look around here, look around you here all, because the people next to you are the ones that have made this happen in lots of different ways. Not everyone who worked on this project can be here today, but in my mind, I think they're here with us in other ways. And I know in my heart that they feel as proud as I do to have this new structure in our community. As the mayor of the city of University Place, and on behalf of the University Place City Council, I wish to thank the University Place Veterans Plaza Committee. That committee's work has brought this forward. This project would not be completed without them. They provided first the vision and then the fortitude and the dedication to carry this through to the completion that it is today. We at the city are grateful for that partnership. With you, it is clear to me that they were central to what we have before us today. And would you join me in thanking them with applause, please? Another important and very engaged partner are the women and men of the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade. Those soldiers have, as we heard earlier, laid the tile, laid the stone, raised the flagpoles here. They're here today, and we really appreciate and value the work that they have provided. The 16th Combat Aviation Brigade is in every way a connected community partner for us. And this community connection and relationship that we have is very important to our city. Would you also please help me thank them as well? I do want to thank the city's public works and parks crews, along with their supervisors, for putting together this project and in the work that they have done as well. They have seen that it is both ready for today, but more importantly, that it's going to be here as an enduring testimony of this community's commitment to veterans for many, many years to come. And I appreciate that the work from the city's public works and parks crews as well. Thank you. Of special note, I wanted to thank Ken Tribblehorn, who, as a volunteer, designed this plaza and also was a volunteer project manager. And it is from that effort that this wonderful memorial has come about as well. And I'm compelled to thank and certainly recognize Councilmember Emeritus Howard Lee, who has kept the wheels on the project to bring it over the finish line today as well. Thank you, Howard. Finally, it's the University Place community that I want to thank, and we all can thank, I believe, for making a place in your hearts for this special, very special memorial, and a place that all of us will find and do find dear and can cherish from this time forward. Thank you for allowing me to talk with you today. It's been my honor.
Thank you, Mayor, for those very kind words this morning. Our guest speaker this morning is Colonel Derek A. Smith, and when I was reading through his military bio, as you will find, I've taken the abridged version because it is long and it's highly impressive. Colonel Smith serves as the commander of the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade. He began his career back in 2001 with a direct commission to second lieutenant following his graduation from Pennsylvania State University business program, where he received his Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. He's a graduate of the Aviation Officers Basic Course, the Captain's Career Course, the Army Command and General Staff College, the U.S. Army War College Fellowship Program at the University of Washington. Go Dogs. He also, sorry, Cougs. He also holds a master's degree in business administration from Central Michigan University. And his military assignments have been equally numerous and impressive, each successive assignment demonstrating greater roles of responsibility. Some of his key assignments include being the executive officer of the 101st Combat Aviation Brigade, member of the Chief of Staff of the Army's Strategic Studies Group, the action officer on the Joint Staff's Trans-Regional Threat Cell at the National Mission Command Center, commander of the 4th of the 6th Air Cavalry Squadron. He's earned his position the hard way. His awards and decorations are numerous. They include 2 Bronze Stars, 6 Meritorious Service Medals, 10 Air Medals, 2 with Valor, the Senior Aviator's Badge, the Air Assault Badge, and the Combat Action Badge. And for our civilians who are with us today, those are very significant awards in the military, and the latter represents duties performed while in combat. Please join me in welcoming Colonel Derek Smith.
I think that was the nice way of saying I'm old now. And I think the best part of today that I've seen so far was the Scouts and our young leaders. So if we can give them a round of applause, that was awesome. Well, good morning. What a wonderful day to spend with our friends and family within this community. I was in 4-6 at JBLM and have attended many events at University of Place. This is a special place for us in the 16th Cab. You all are always so wonderful and welcoming to us. And I count it an honor to speak at the dedication ceremony on behalf of Lieutenant General Brunson and all the soldiers and airmen of Joint Base Lewis-McChord, as well as the United States Army. Thank you to all who have worked so hard on this plaza. It's something we can all be proud of. And I know my predecessor, Shane, is especially proud as he was here to break ground on the project last year. And I am proud to represent the nearly 3,000 soldiers of the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade that are both present here as well as Alaska. I encourage you to preserve this place for future generations. View this as a sacred place. Having said that, let's take a closer look at the work of the many community volunteers that built this wonderful setting. As you look at this plaza, you'll see many different textures, including granite, metal, concrete, and grass. Each of these textures offers its own component to the plaza. Granite with its unyielding and nature and endurance, metal with its versatility and strength, concrete with its ruggedness, and grass, which adds a softness that surrounds the power emanating from this place. You will also notice the flags flying high above it all. All of these characteristics can be said of the American veteran, an unyielding grit and endurance to see the mission through, strength and versatility, ruggedness, but with all that goes softness like the grass, to realize that there are moments that command sympathy and sensitivity to a brother or sister who needs support. The grass also represents our spouses who sacrifice dearly and afford us balance. The Pau Maya flag represents those who held prisoner of war and those still missing in action today. Our American flag gives purpose to the entire site, flying above it all, representing our resolute dedication to freedom. Today, we make our founding fathers and those that have come before us proud. There is a closeness we can all feel in this sacred place, whether you're related to someone whose name is placed here in stone or not. You can share in the kinship of being an American citizen here. We are surrounded by the memories of those who have served our country, those who have sacrificed so much for our freedom. Here you'll find true heroes of places you have learned about in history books. They fought in places like Yorktown, Gettysburg, Normandy, Pearl Harbor, Korea, Vietnam, Panama, Grenada, Somalia, Haiti, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and I could go on with more. To them, these locations are not lists in history books. They are experiences where they witness both the best and worst of humanity. So come visit, come connect, and come pay your respects by walking through this plaza. I want to send a special thank you to our civilian leaders here in University Place who saw fit to erect this site. It speaks volumes about your commitment, about our community, and about our deep relationship. Thank you to the veterans, volunteers, committee members, and everyone else in the community today that made this possible. We are forever in your debt. Thank you.
You know, Colonel Smith, listening to you this morning is extremely inspiring. Thank you so much. You know, when I look around and see all the men and women in uniform today, I'm always inspired knowing that our country is always in safe hands. If we could just take a moment and recognize those men and women here that are with us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would also join me in welcoming the president of the UP Veterans Plaza Committee, Greg Gooch, and Vice President Nancy Trebelhorn for the laying of the wreath and the unveiling of the Veterans Plaza plaque. During this portion of the ceremony, we'd also like to recognize Mrs. Karen Schwartz, wife of the late Lieutenant Commander Bob Schwartz, United States Navy retired, and the Gold Star mother, Diane Tatham, mother of the late Michael Rex Tatham, Chief Petty Officer, First Class, Special Operations, United States Navy, SEALs. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Major Ryan Steenburg.
At this time, I invite you to receive the Lord's benediction. God, please let every veteran of our nation's armed forces feel truly and appropriately honored by the attention and appreciation of their fellow citizens. Let no one feel forgotten or neglected. Let every man and woman, young or old, feel the deep and enduring gratitude of our nation and its inhabitants for God and country. Amen.
In closing, I would like to simply say on behalf of the University Place Veterans Plaza Committee, we would like to thank each and every one of you for giving of your time here today to experience this single moment in time. Thank you to our speakers who lead, inspire, and selflessly serve. While we remember this day as Armistice Day or Veterans Day, we should keep in mind that every day is special. Every day is a Veterans Day. For somewhere there's a soldier, an airman, a seaman serving in our armed forces. Somewhere there's a member of our armed services who has made the ultimate sacrifice so we as Americans, regardless of our ethnicity, political persuasions, or beliefs, will continue to preserve the rights to live free, to choose our leadership, and enjoy those freedoms afforded every American in our Bill of Rights. To those who have served and to those who are serving, we owe a debt of gratitude that we can never repay. Thank you to the UP Veterans Plaza Committee for their vision and tenacity to see this project through to completion. A special thanks in recognition to the late Lieutenant Commander Bob Schwartz for his positive leadership to the bitter end. Despite his grave illness, he was here with us 1 year ago when we dedicated this ground. And I believe he is here with us again today in spirit to celebrate this day. As mentioned before by our mayor, a thanks to Ken Troublehorn, who is the architect behind this beautiful place, Roger Gruner, and the other members of the committee who were instrumental in getting this project off the ground. You know, thank you to the citizens of University Place who support it and who support our veterans. You know, thank you to the city crews from University Place. Again, to the men and women of the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade, to the many volunteers, to the contractors, to the vendors who worked tirelessly, and I kid you not, they worked overtime to make sure this project was completed on time for this day. Want to say a special thank you to our Cub Scouts, Pack 148, to Sergeant Tricia Shear this morning, who sang the national anthem, Sergeant Matthew Jackson, who was the bugler for the TAPS, and Mr. Robert Wallace for making this day very special. And again, a special thanks to Karen for being here. Diane, thank you for joining us this morning. Again, thank you. Stay safe, stay dry, stay warm. Thank you, Chaplain, for your connection with God to keep the wind and the rain away. You know you had that connection? We really thank you. And with that, this concludes the ceremony. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.